Hey guys, welcome to Wave. We talk about a lot of things crypto. If that interests you, then do subscribe to the channel. In the last couple of videos, we've been exploring various NFT projects, especially the Bored Ape Yacht Club and the entire Bored Ape ecosystem. And one particular tool that we were using to look at usage and so on was this app called the DApp Radar. And something unique that we just observed as a pattern was that wax kept appearing in a number of projects, right? So what is wax? Wax is actually a blockchain that is used by game. Wax has some insane number of users, right? If you look at the just look at Alien World, it has about 187,000 users powered by wax. Farmers World, 148,000 users powered by wax. If you add up everything, I'm guessing more than over 400,000 users are currently on various apps that are built on top of wax. Let me show you another interesting statistic. Just remember that wax is essentially a blockchain for gaming and NFTs. There are other use cases, but primarily for gaming and NFTs. This particular statistics here, it talks about users per category, right? If you look at that, a 30-day period, right? I'm just looking at the last 30 days. Roughly more than 1 million users every day are on gaming are on games, right? About 600,000 are on DeFi projects. So games are the largest number of gaming users are the largest number of users of the entire blockchain space. And this is true because more than 50% of the accounts are primarily meant for, or wallets are primarily meant for gaming. Look at the users per protocol. If you look at this purple line here, that's wax. Right, Wax is nearly 2 times as much as its nearest competitor, the Binance Smart Chain. Right, so Wax is doing pretty well. Right, it's a blockchain with great adoption. Right, it has the largest number of users using it on a daily basis. We saw, let's say, blockchains like, or apps like Decentraland. It had like 30 users a day. Right, this has 700,000 users a day. Right, this is a gem that's probably hidden in plain sight. Right, let's try and research and see if this is really a gem or not. Look at transactions per category. Again, games are at 100 close to 150 million transactions on a daily basis. DeFi is about 25 million. Games are nearly 6 times the second constituent. Even in transactions per second, Wax is clearly leading the pack. Right, at 108 million transactions per second, Wax is almost like 5 times or more than 5 times its nearest competitor. Look at volumes here. I think games suffer a little bit because games are not really for are not primarily for a monetary perspective. It is more of entertainment, but of course there is a monetary angle involved. DeFi, however, is predominantly a monetary perspective. Hence, you can see close to $1 billion on DeFi, but only $14 million on games. Volume per protocol, again, Wax is lower because it's at 1.4 million a day, predominantly because it is for gamers. Whereas Ethereum is at 2 billion. A lot of this is used for essentially DeFi projects, right? So all these statistics pretty much make sense. So what we can really take away from this is that Wax has a large number of users spread across several apps. However, it has smaller numbers in terms of value of the transactions. Right? That is something that is probably a growing thing. So it will take off eventually. Let's look at why Ethereum is not as popular as Wax for games and NFTs. It's predominantly for this reason, that to probably sell or mint a $3 item, it'll cost you $79 in gas fee. Right? Somebody put it very nicely on this tweet. That is the problem. For lower value transactions, Ethereum is not really the blockchain for it. Right? So when it comes to NFTs, in-game items, transactions for games where volume is the real game and not really the value, you need better blockchains that are optimized for that, and I believe Wax is one of those blockchains specifically designed for that purpose. In fact, Wax is also doing pretty well. Any Wax backed protocols are also doing pretty well. I came across this Dibs. Dibs is a marketplace for sports trading cards. Dibs was recently got an investment from Amazon, and Dibs is powered by the Wax blockchain. Wax itself raised funding recently. They raised about $10 million from for a push into the GameFi and NFT market. If you go to their website, you'll see a lot of interesting statistics, right? A good place for you to start off with it. Like we saw in the DApp radar as well, Wax has more than 400,000 daily unique visitors, more than 23 million transactions, more than 12 million accounts, and over 30,000 DApps built on top of it. That is really good, right? That's really great adoption, and I feel adoption is always the leading indicator for price. um, the next thing that I always look at is stakeholders. Just look at the partnerships: Atari, Mattel, Hasbro, AMC Theaters, Sony. Wax is some of the best brands, who are using it, who are partnered with it, who are stakeholders in this whole thing, right? And Wax is purpose built, right? You can build, right? What do I mean by that? I'll talk about this, in a couple of seconds. Wax is built for games and NFTs. They have a lot of, support for developers to come and build on top of this. Wax also cares about the environment. This is probably one of the few blockchains, or probably the only blockchain, that is certified carbon neutral by Climate Care. And this means that a lot of funds who across the world have a mandate to invest in sustainable projects will most likely, if given a choice between various tokens, will direct their funds towards Wax because of the sustainability factor. And Wax has more than 12 million collectors and so on. If you go to their marketplace, you will see that there are over 280 million NFTs created, right? More than 400,000 transactions, right? Hot Wheels to Scooby Doo to Nickelodeon. There are so many real world brands that have partnered with this project. Wax has an impressive lineup of investors as well. If you just look at the base of these investors, they're all the way from Singapore, South Korea, China, United States, Japan, etc., Switzerland. I feel one of the reasons why they would have taken such a long list of investors is probably because they want to use these investors as a means of getting the key stakeholders on the table, right? And that I feel is a great strategy that Wax has most likely adopted. If you look at their supply schedule, it's about they have about 3.7 billion WaxP tokens. There are 3 tokens. I'll explain what they are. WaxP is the primary token, which probably is what you will invest into. There are 3.7 billion. It is capped at 3.7 billion. Now, this is something that I found very interesting. The white paper is not on a PDF, linked on their website. Rather, it is on GitHub. This is probably the first time I'm observing something like that. And Wax talks about in their white paper various opportunities that they're looking at, and I think one of the opportunities which I feel is proven and will probably be in itself a 20, maybe 10-20 billion dollar kind of a market cap for Wax itself, is the gaming NFT play that they want to get into, or they are already into. There are over 2.3 billion gamers worldwide, and more than $140 billion is spent annually, right? This is in regular games. I'm not talking about blockchain games. And when many of these games move into the blockchain space, this number will probably increase, right? The pie is going to become bigger because it is unlocking a lot of other value for the gamers. So I feel this is a great place that they are at, and they already have a good advantage because of the number of users that they have and the number of apps and gamers who have adopted them. At 140 billion spent annually, even if you consider a small fraction of it being acquired, a small market share of this being taken over by Wax, I feel easily Wax can reach a 10 to 20 billion dollar market cap. Today it's at about $250 million market cap. So that means even from today, Wax can go up maybe 40 to 80 times. It has great potential just considering this one use case. This is my opinion. Please do your own research before you invest into any of these assets. Then the white paper also talks about a $2 trillion market cap, which is in the more of the e-commerce space, right? More of the e-commerce, cross-border transactions, and in the online streaming domains. Those are some of the aspects that they are targeting, esports, influencers, etc. But I feel that $2 trillion is untested. It's not a proven market as far as I'm concerned. And I'm only concerned about the blockchain gaming, which I feel itself can take Wax to a 10-20 billion dollar kind of a market cap, which means that it's a 40 to 80 80x from where it is today. Now, what is some of the interesting things in terms of the tokens? is there are three tokens. So VAX E is the Ethereum ERC20 token of VAX. It's capped at 3.7 million. VAX G is the governance token, and VAX P is the protocol token, right? So it is interchangeable. So you can buy VAX P, you can put it onto the Ethereum bridge, you can burn VAX P for VAX E, you can stake that for liquidity and get returns on that, and you can also earn VAX G as for rewards, right? And there are four kinds of tokens, four generations of tokens rather. Most of the tokens fall into the first generation, which is a traditional model where the token value is associated with the blockchain transactions. If you take your Bitcoin or Ethereum, they all fall into this. The second generation is where token value is indirectly but not transparently linked to blockchain economic activity. This is like the Binance token. The third generation is where token value is directly linked to on-blockchain economic activity. The fourth one is where it is directly linked to activity on multiple blockchains, and this is where VAX comes into play, right? VAX is a fourth generation token, and given that there are so many layer ones that have developed, being interoperable is very important. VAX is a fourth generation token that will derive its value from more than one blockchain, and that I feel is another great advantage of this token. If you look at the price of VAX, it is at 11 cents today, at a $250 million market cap. It reached an all-time high of about $2.77. It is down more than 95% since then, but I'll not look at that all-time high. I'd rather look at the more recent highs of, let's say, about $0.9. So it has crashed more than 80% probably from where it was maybe in 6-7 months back. Even considering that, that's a great discount. You're getting this at an 80% discount from where it was just very recently. Considering that the number of users have pretty much stayed, maybe it has dropped a little bit, but the users have stayed. I feel this token is seriously undervalued. It is a gem hidden in plain sight. If you try to search for this token even on YouTube, you'll not find that many videos as you would find for other tokens. Maybe because the PR activity for this token is not really great. I usually evaluate tokens on 6 parameters. Tokenomics, which is good for this token. Team, they have some crypto veterans who are running this. I feel the team was good. Utility and activity. There is huge amount of utility for this, as we saw in the number of use cases that VAX is trying to solve, and there is a lot of activity because there are over 400,000 users on this blockchain on a daily basis. I don't think any other protocol comes even close to this. So that is great. Product roadmap, we saw that has been good. Historically, they have achieved their roadmaps, and even going forward, I feel that they will be able to achieve whatever they're planning for their roadmap. And the last one is the stakeholders. Right from their investors to the brands that they have associated with, the stakeholders are a good number. They are doing a lot of projects with VAX, and that is also a plus. This is a 6-on-6 in terms of all the parameters that I normally evaluate, and has probably the best adoption of any token, and I always feel adoption is the leading indicator for price. So there is nothing like this token. This is a gem hidden in plain sight.